Since the AI came up, I've been building chatbots to help software businesses with their customer support. And in that, I did good enough to cut down the average response time of the chatbots I built to 2.3 seconds. And I believe every software company out there should have a chatbot to help with their customer service. And this is why today we're going to talk about how you can train a chatbot for your business. To be clear, in this video, I will not discuss how to build a chatbot. I will not show you an exact tutorial how to set up a chatbot. I will just go over the theory of how to train your chatbot. If you want to know how to build a chatbot and everything else, I have videos on it as well. I'll put them in the info card up here so you can watch them after this video. So let's get to training a chatbot. The first thing you have to know is that it is not possible. We as businesses and human beings are not able to train chatbots ourselves. This is done by OpenAI and Anthropic and Google and all of these big players who develop their own models. They train the models. We just build chatbots on the foundation of these models. We are not able to train them. But what we mean when we say we train them is basically two things: giving them knowledge and instructions. So what we mean when we say we train a chatbot, oftentimes what we mean is giving them a knowledge base to answer questions from and instructions on how to answer them. And how do we do that? How do we give them knowledge and how do we give them instructions correctly so that they work? Giving a chatbot knowledge, so building a knowledge base is what it is. We have to look out for a few simple rules. What a knowledge base needs to have and how it needs to be set up. It needs to be structured. A chatbot, artificial intelligence, still is an intelligence. And this artificial intelligence is based on algorithms, on rules, so it has a specific structure, how it works, how it thinks, how it operates. And if we give to this structured being something that is not of structure, something that is illogical and that doesn't make sense at first glance, then this structured model will fail. And by structure, I mean your knowledge base needs to be segmented into the different topics. In the data you load up there itself, this needs to be clearly articulated. A good rule of thumb is if you were to give this knowledge base to a human and you want to train a human on that, just like you train your staff, what would that look like in order to make it as easy as possible for this human to look into that? He would probably need the different data sources segmented into different topics, clearly articulated, no fancy words, readable and understandable diction, and logical in itself explanations of whatever you're uploading there. Okay, so a chatbot is typically, in some areas, more intelligent than a human. AI is better in understanding and in searching for information, even in larger files and larger blocks of text. So if you have a website and you have your documentation for your software and it's kind of messy, so no human would dare to look into it, it's probably still safe to load it up to a chatbot and the chatbot will understand, especially when we put in fallbacks, which I explained in this video, but ideally structured. The second thing is deep. Deep means that the different informations in there have context, and a lot of that. You have to understand that the chatbot will answer from everything that is in your knowledge base, and it cannot answer from things that are not in your knowledge base. More times than not, I work with businesses and I build their chatbot and I upload the documents they give me to the knowledge base and they test it and they ask it questions and then they come back to me and tell me that the chatbot wasn't able to answer for a certain topic. And then I look again into the knowledge base and I find out that they have not given me a single document or a single ounce of information about this topic that they were just referring to. So I need you to understand this. If it is not in the knowledge base, the chatbot cannot answer from it. It is simply not possible. Just as you are not able to tell me something about a topic that you've never heard of. And the more context it has to this information, the better the answers it can give. This is what deep means. Think of it as digging a hole. You're in your garden and you're digging a hole. This hole can be an inch wide but a mile deep, meaning that the information in the chatbot don't need to be compendious, they just need to be deep. There just needs to be a lot of context and information for just one simple topic. And ideally, the knowledge base is compendious as well. So a lot of different informations about different topics. If you want to really replace your customer service or help your customer service out with this, then it needs to have as much information about as many topics as humanly possible. And each of these topics needs to be deeply understood. Easy rule of thumb, everything you have about your business, your product, your avatar, your service, your software, everything you have, put it in there. Just upload it. It's the easiest thing you can do. And if there's things missing in there and you know that, I guess you know what you have to do. And of course, up to date. Self-explaining, right? If the informations are outdated, it's not going to help anyone. And as well, we need to update this regularly. There is some bot building softwares, I believe nearly any of them has this feature that as soon as something gets uploaded in the knowledge base, so you update your website or whatever, it automatically gets updated in the chatbot itself as well. But make sure that the information you have in there actually are the latest you have and up to date. And when we've checked off all of these things, then we can check off the knowledge part. Now we're done with that. Now we have a deep, compendious, up-to-date and structured knowledge base. Done. Okay, let's go to the instructions, which is in most bot building softwares something called a system prompt. You may know a prompt is the text you put into this text window in the AI, telling them what to do. So write an essay. Help me with XYZ problem. Tell me 10 ideas for my YouTube videos. That's a prompt. The system prompt is what you give this whole thing, the chatbot. It's the personality, if you want. So this is where we tell them how to operate and how to articulate what he comes up with when searching in the knowledge base. So ideally what you want to have in there is give them a role. So you're a customer service chatbot for my XYZ software business, assistant for example. Then you want to give them context. So we're XYZ software business, let's call us XYZ Solutions, and we have built a lead generation software for restaurants. And our ideal restaurant looks like this, has this many employees, blah 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 blah. Give the chatbot a bit of context about who you are and who your avatar is, so it has a better understanding of how these informations are to be understood and how they need to be answered. As well, tell it how to answer short, answer precise, answer. The best thing is to give them a number of sentences. It's not gonna understand. Chatbots are yet, as of this date, really bad at understanding numbers, so how many words or how many letters or how many sentences something is, but it's gonna have something to aim for. So you'll tell it 4 sentences and it might end up with 5 or 6 or 3, but if you tell it 16 sentences, it will write a lot more. So you can use that as a general bullseye to aim for. By the way, I found out that most people read through even longer messages by the chatbot as long as it helps their problem. It doesn't need to be precise in 2 to 3 sentences. This can even hurt. So if the user asks a question or states a problem and it gets solved in 3 sentences, then the likelihood that it is not properly understood and not every information that the user needs to solve this problem is in there is pretty high. Rather aim for longer messages by the chatbot and therefore a better understanding, rather than shorter answers and a worse understanding by the user. And users really don't care how long the message is, they just want to have their problem solved. So that's the how to answer. You can put in negative prompts as well, so don't say this, don't say that, don't talk about our competitors. A negative prompt is something the chatbot is not allowed to do. Information gathering is what this is supposed to mean. Means you can tell the chatbot where to look for the answers, which is typically in the knowledge base. So a regular system prompt would look something like this. You're an assistant for XYZ company. We're building lead gen softwares for restaurants of any size based in Miami. Answer in 6 to 7 sentences and focus on solutions. Do not talk about our competitors. You will find everything you need inside the documents uploaded in your knowledge base. And as soon as you have that, you have a rule, you have context, you have a how-to, you have a negative prompt, and you have some info gathering where it can find the information. You have both of them checked, and therefore training the chatbot is checked as well. This is everything you need. This is everything you need to understand. I hope I was able to explain that in such a manner that you will able to follow me and to understand and use this for a chatbot. Everything else you need on information to add on to that, I've put into the info cards up here. And if you've liked this video, then you're gonna love this one as well. Goodbye.